equivocating. We're starting a conversation with, maybe this is wrong, but, right? And I just think we have to not do that. I think we have to show ourselves, show up as our best selves and have more confidence in ourselves. And I think that those are the two biggest things. I think the third piece is persistence. I've failed lots and lots of times. It has not been an easy ride, and you've got to be able to take that failure and let that kind of, take you to the next level, right? You've got to be able to forgive yourself for those things. I could be my own worst critic. I'm a bit of a perfectionist at times, and that's not good because sometimes you'll make mistakes and you learn from them, and it's much better to learn quickly than it is to never make a mistake because you're so fearless, so fearful of doing that. So those are the things I think that I would give as advice to everyone in this room.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, as entrepreneurs who want more, I think most of the people in this audience are people who are here because they want more. Did you ever feel on that long road, I mean, Oxford, Harvard, such, I'm sure it wasn't difficult and the road was not easy. Did you ever feel like, I'm done. I'm going to give up because this is too hard. I wasn't taken seriously in this situation, or like, what am I doing?
Yeah, so you might know this, about 2% of venture capital goes to women. And so that means when you're going into a room and going and trying to raise capital as a woman, it's not that fun. And that's because often people don't see you as being like themselves, right? And we often connect with people and want to give people chances who remind us of ourselves. And, I was coming into American rooms where I had different accents, sometimes an advantageous accent, actually. It turns out you Americans do like a British accent, it's going to win. But I looked different, people didn't necessarily think that, I had the persistence and grit to be able to build a great business. And so that was really difficult because you get a lot of no's, and it's disheartening. And frankly, when you make mistakes and you get a lot of no's, you can kind of think, well, maybe I suck, maybe it's my problem. And I think what I found in those moments was that it was really great to have people around you that supported you. So I've got a great co-founder, and we were able to kind of say, hey, no, don't worry, we're on the right track, and to really have faith in what we were doing. But it was also really great to kind of recognize and take in that negative feedback, give yourself the time to recover from that, and get back on again. So, there were times where I had a tough day, I had some pizza, I had some chocolate cake, I had a good night's sleep, and I went back on the road. And so I think sometimes you just got to give yourself that moment to recognize things aren't going really well. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why does it matter to you? And, the next day is a fresh day, it's a fresh start.
I love that idea that it's a fresh start, it's a fresh day.
I'm not sure everyone should take lots of pizza and chocolate cake, but it did the job on those days.
Well, I was going to ask you, I was thinking while you were talking, when somebody underestimates you, or did that, you kind of stop and regroup, and then you get the fire in your belly again because they underestimated you. What are some bits of advice that you can give, besides the chocolate and the, mindset and perspective? What are some of the things that you could share that help you kind of get through and to fire back at the underestimators?
I mean, I think, keep your focus. What is it that you want to achieve? Keep your focus on that. Double down on your strengths. We've all got weaknesses. Maybe you've got weaknesses that, you can complement with someone else in your team, or someone else that you work with and you can learn from. I think one thing that's important is to remember you've got to work really hard. I think there's a lot of talk in today's world about work-life balance, and I'm not really sure that I really believe in that. I think sometimes, your work needs to take precedence, and sometimes your life does. And I don't know anyone who's successful that doesn't work really hard. It doesn't matter what they do, and I think that we sometimes forget because the way that people present themselves on social media is the best life, the best version of themselves, right? But everybody that you know that's doing a great job is probably working those extra hours. They're getting up in the morning earlier than everyone else. They're making sure that at night they're working on those things. And so I think don't be afraid to work hard. Sometimes I was always worried that if I put all that extra effort in and it didn't work, then, I sucked, right? But it's okay, put that extra effort in. Sometimes it won't work, but you'll know that you gave it, you put your best foot forward. I definitely do think that we all need to learn from not being too critical of ourselves. just because I think that often prevents you from taking risks. I think if you've got an idea, maybe as an entrepreneur, or you want that promotion, or you want to step up and do something new, and it's a creative idea, remember to just give yourself the chance to do it. The worst that can happen is that somebody says no.
Right, right. So take me back to starting your company. You had this, I mean, you don't get here overnight, right? You had this dream, you start this company. Just take me back and tell me, if you have an example of a struggle that you went through and you pushed through. I mean, starting, you went from having a difficult time, spending 20 hours trying to plan all your excursions, to launching Peak.com.
Yeah.
So fill in those, like, I'd love to hear the story about how that started.
Yeah, well, I'll actually talk to you a little bit about one of the struggles we had early on was that, we started this website to help people book experiences. So if you want to go zip lining or whitewater rafting, you want to find these great things to do. Maybe you want to do an art tour or a cooking class. We wanted to make it easy for you to book. And so we basically were working with these small businesses. They didn't have online booking, we didn't know when they were available, but we thought, we'll just put it on their schedule, we'll fake it, right? So maybe you can do a boat tour this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And what we found is that when we did that, people were booking and we couldn't connect with the business. And so about 40% of the people who were booking on our site couldn't get their activity because they wanted to book in a short window in a few hours. That's not a good consumer experience. So if you come in and you think you're getting something this afternoon and we can't offer it because we can't get hold of the business, that really sucks. And so what we quickly realized is, if we're going to do what we think we want to do, which is help consumers book great things to do, we're actually going to have to get all these businesses online. So we're going to have to give them tools and software to run their business. And the only reason they're going to do that is if we can help them improve their businesses. And so we set about building software for small businesses. We set about giving them online booking tools for their own website. We set about giving them kind of all of the capabilities to run their business using their phone or a computer. And that was a lot of work, and that was a lot of us kind of going out into the field, working with hundreds and thousands of businesses, hundreds and into thousands now of businesses to help them with that. And today, we have a huge software business where, the businesses that work with us, on average, increase their bookings by 30 or 40% when they start working with us. They save hours and hours of time, and they massively improve their customer experience. But that was that wasn't where we originally started, but it was what we needed to do in order to succeed.
Oh, it's so fun to hear, your journey of how you took that. I just have another question about, do you feel a responsibility? You have got great accolades, and you have been so successful as an entrepreneur and as a businesswoman. Tell me a little bit about the responsibility you feel. Do you feel a responsibility to give back, or what are your views on that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's really, really important that if you have a voice, or you've gotten to a point where you have some success, that you give back. I think often we, think that you have to, reach a certain pinnacle before you're in the time in your life where you're giving back to society. But I think actually we can all give back, even as we're on the route. And so that's something that's been really important to me. And I think taking my voice and using it for something positive, both in terms of what we do as a company, we promote entrepreneurship, we're helping all of these small businesses to succeed, which I think is the backbone of the economy. But I think personally for me as well, so, I grew up in an environment that was pretty tough.